Just like to thank my principal again for putting me on last. Usually when we have meetings after the Christmas party, I'm on first. Last day of school, I'm on last. Today I'm on last again. So I apologise for that. My name is Jayne. I'm the IT coordinator here in the school. And I'm just going to go through a bit about what managed services means to me as an IT coordinator. And as I was running through this presentation, it became clear that really it's as an IT coordinator and a teacher, because I teach as well. So really, the IT coordinators in most schools were firefighters. We fix things, we fix printers, we fix IDs, we talk to vendors, we try to get the best price for things, we purchase things. We train the staff when we have time. We are a teacher in there of students as well, somewhere, and we're advisors, okay? There is no room in that space for the things that, as a teacher and an IT coordinator, we would like to be. I want to be able to investigate new technologies. I want to be able to develop the staff. I want to be able to develop the students. I want to have a whole school capacity among teachers for teaching IT and integrating technology, but also among the students. We want them to be digitally literate. We want them to be digital citizens. There's no time to research, to pilot things, to fail. I was delighted to hear Alan mention the power of failure. It's so important to have that space that you can fail. And I think it's important even for the students to see that the technology didn't work. What do we do instead? Who can we get in touch with? How can we work around this? I think that's a good lesson for students to learn. So as an IT coordinator in the system we had, there wasn't a lot of room, there wasn't a lot of space to do that. So this really is the reason. There's me, blonde at the time with glasses. So I had all these people to contact. So I might have used the same person to contact. We would contact the NCTE maybe about the Wi-Fi or the internet, different people for software and licensing, PCs, computers, projectors, tablets, usernames, IDs, cabling, interactive whiteboard, sounds and speakers, internet, printers, firewall. Okay, so you see what was happening in our school. Ideally, I was hoping that as a coordinator that we would be able to develop the technology for teaching and learning. And when I say as a coordinator, I have a team. We have an e-learning team in the school, and I'm very, very lucky that the staff here are so willing to help. Even today, they set up so much. You'll meet Martin and Salvo and Karen and Paula. They're all going to be in our breakout session. And we really do work together on this. One of them would have an idea. We'll maybe discuss, would it work for us? And we will pilot it, try it ourselves, then spread it out to other teachers. That's kind of how we work. I want to have the space to spot opportunities for the students and for the staff. To have time, as Marie-Therese mentioned, time for CPD. And I was delighted, it was really refreshing actually, Alan, to hear you say that you brought in the devices and it just didn't work. You can't just land them somewhere. Teachers need time to learn how to integrate it and to focus on the pedagogy and how is this actually going to affect the learning. Not just this is a fancy piece of technology that everyone should have. And that requires CPD among the staff because it is a different set of pedagogies. It's a different way of teaching. So we also are trying to develop a team of digital leaders among the students. And you can see there's 15 or 16 girls there who are in my 5th year computer science class. Now, when I say computer science, I've said this before at many events, it's kind of makey-uppy. I pick out something, we will introduce coding. There are so many resources out there and available to us that we can, like you can look for the Partners in Learning Network for coding. You can go to Computers in Education Society of Ireland, CESI. They will have teachers using different things in their room, and I literally grab bits from everyone. Teach myself, we learn as a group. Some of the students would know maybe more coding. I'll get them to teach the class. We're all learning. So those are the girls who are going around today now, videoing, taking pictures. So they're going to be our digital leaders for the school. It's whole school digital literacy. And really, as an IT coordinator and a teacher, I want us to develop and grow. And everyone, I know you mentioned that the whole school is using different pockets. To me, that's okay. I'm actually okay with that. That we have Office 365 here in the school. All the students log in using their Office 3. So that's our kind of base that we work from. And then different teachers will use different things for different subjects. And that's fine, because I think that once we have a baseline, as you mentioned, we're free to then go and explore other technologies. And the students, when they go into the world of work, are not put off by something new they've never seen before. When they go into a job situation, most of the time the company will have their own software, their own systems. They'll have to learn how to use that anyway. But our students will have the confidence to accept that and know that they'll be able to learn it. Sure, they've learned 50 different things when they were in school. So ICT at Colaiste, I don't know if I have time to show this video. Am I okay for time?
We'll squeeze there.
Thank you very much. I spent 10 hours on this presentation. I'm showing every single slide. You're staying here. So if you could just show the video now, please, that would be great.
There's always been a vision for ICT in our school. Our approach to ICT is to incorporate it into every aspect of our school life, from administration, through teaching, through learning, through in student support, in any way possible.
Because art is a visual subject, there are thousands of ways to introduce ICT in. We use a visualizer in the classroom for demonstrations. It's a really, really useful tool because we can project it onto the screen so the whole class can see it, and we can show it from a variety of angles, and it's well lit. We started to use Instagram so that students can see the good standard of work that's happening, the variety of projects. They can be inspired by something that's happening with sixth years, and that parents can start to see things that are happening at home as well.
So I wanted to try something different. So I started doing stop motion animation with the kids, and they loved it because it was new, it was different, it was exciting, and it was easy to break down into small parts for them so that if they were in a group of 3, they could split it up, and while they're learning the new skills, they can teach each other. So all the pressure isn't on me. I can set them up, and then I'm just really facilitating them, making their projects, making their movies.
Well, with my first year English class, we're integrating IT around the idea of creating an e-portfolio. They're using their Gmail, Google accounts at the moment, and all the features really that go with their Google Drive account. They're using Edmodo as a communication tool, as an organisation tool, and also as a way of submitting their work online.
I use ICT in my PE class by using an iPad. I use an app on the iPad called UberSense, which is a video analysis app which enables students to record themselves and play themselves back. UberSense is very easy to use because it gives immediate feedback to the students. Another advantage of UberSense is that students will have the app downloaded on their phone. They can go home, they can practice the skill at home, get someone else to videotape themselves, and they can look back and see again what are they doing correctly and what do they need to improve on. So it's another example of how technology is extending the boundaries of the classroom.
We'll take him inside the hospital.
Using ICT in the classroom is brilliant, particularly for business. Teamwork would be very important, and it would be a big part of the whole curriculum. So it gets them working very well in teams. I would divide them up first of all into groups, and then after that would just set them a goal and give each group a particular area that they would have to research. And then at the end they have to make the presentation not only to their own peers, but sometimes we've got in the principal and deputy principal.
Padlet is a platform, and it works effectively like a virtual notice board. It is mainly used as a tool to upload resources, to share resources and comments and so on. I think that the great advantage of using technology is that everything that a teacher creates is easily stored and reusable, as opposed to working on paper, for example, and we all know resources can be lost.
I'm the ICT coordinator in the school, and I have an e-learning team or an ICT integration team. It's very important that the teachers are comfortable with the technology they are using for the students, because the students a lot of the time are well ahead of us. So we feel it's important that teachers are given proper training and proper instruction on how to use technology in the classroom.
CPD will be done through both formal and informal processes here in the school, be it that we've often used the grants available from the education centres to do training here in school, and then informally the peer sharing, the teach meets, the learning from each other. Teachers do like things that are working well, and people are very willing to share ideas with each other. So we often give staff opportunities to do that, and we will plan ICT time into our Croke Park hours.
Okay. So now with managed services, the focus can be more on teaching and learning, just the practicalities of how it works here in the school. There's one point of contact. We all send an email to support. Every teacher has access to that. So if something goes wrong in a classroom, the teacher can send an email there and then. I can be off-site, there's no need to worry. We have a whole team of experts behind us. Now, as Mary-Theresa mentioned, we have somebody here for a couple of hours, but the support is only at the end of an email. Most issues can be resolved remotely, so the idea of an ID not working, people not being able to access a printer, that can all be done remotely. And also we can see trends and anticipate. There's monitoring. I've come in here some mornings and there'll be somebody sitting inside at the server. And I'll say, well, she's here for sure, everything's fine. They say, no, we're actually monitoring the server and something lit up, and they should come over and fix it. So before problems even happen, they're dealt with. Now, I still have access to everything. Not that I'm a control freak, but in the beginning it was really difficult to hand over, because basically what you're saying is, if something goes wrong, you send an email and I'm not going to do anything. Somebody else is going to do something and make all those phone calls for me. And after 10 years of being the one running around making the phone calls, it is quite difficult to give up that control. So I can still see everything and check up and make sure they're doing it better than I did. It's reliable. It's safe. The infrastructure that we have in place. Reliable, safe, it's secure, it's adaptable, upgradable, and really it's future-proofed. But the most important thing for me is that it's invisible. I don't want to see it. I don't want to know about the technology. I just want to go into class and it works. And if it doesn't work, I want to know that it's going to be really quickly for me to resolve it. You can go into a class and a website is blocked or something's not working. You send an email, usually within that class period. Now I'm putting a lot of expectations on the support desk there, but within that class period, that site will be unblocked or somebody will come back and confirm information. So from that point of view, it does give us confidence and trust. Now, this is the technology that sits on our managed services and our infrastructure. These are all the technologies we used. As I said, we use Office 365. Everyone logs in with the same ID. And that's one thing that I found, again, very hard to give up. For years, we had a generic user ID. And people said, no, but every student should have their own ID. And I just thought that was going to be a nightmare. 960 students all logging in and coming in and saying they forgot their password. That was stuff I used to wake up at night about. But eventually, I gave in. And to be honest, there have been no problems. I'm really sorry we didn't do it sooner. It's working really, really well. They have access to everything all of the time. We kind of started our own years ago. We had an email address to cope with snow days and things, you know, just even to send notes. And now that's just par for the course. We just do it constantly. And we've all these technologies that we use. As I said, different teachers use different things for different subjects. And you'll hear about that in the breakout session. But it all sits on the infrastructure and the managed services. And that's kind of what makes it possible. And we have different collaborations because of that. So we were asked to be part of the Living Schools Lab, which is a European project, and we'll talk about that in the breakout session. But that is something that came because we could trust the technology. We are involved in the Inspiring Science Education project. Again, that'll be in the breakout session. E-twinning. We're using e-twinning for languages at the moment, but there's no reason why you couldn't be involved in e-twinning for any other subject. There's always opportunities to get involved in schools outside your own. We did the Connected Classrooms with Warren Mount, which was a huge success and has huge potential. Those girls who were involved in that class all got honours in honours maths. So the girls who weren't here on site and were sitting in a room on their own without a teacher in front of them all got honours in honours maths. That's something amazing. And that would not be possible without the technology. We are involved in different film festivals because we have the technology and that we were kind of slowly introducing bring your own device. There are things that you can integrate into your subject. So, for example, I teach SPHE. The CAST Film Festival is about mental health and awareness and well-being. And we're involved in that because I can bring it into my SPHE class. The technology isn't the issue. It's about creating a video to make awareness about mental health. The same with the cycle against suicide. So the technology is kind of becoming invisible. And then we're also involved in the EU Folio project, which is where students use OneDrive and OneNote to create an online folio of all their work, and we have 2 or 3 English teachers taking part in that. And again, that was something we thought would be huge. We'll have a whole class, they'll have to set up their IDs, they'll have to set up all this. It's so much easier once you try it out. And I supported the teachers, and we kind of worked together. And you do have to give yourself time. It took a couple of weeks. We had to decide, right, one class setting up the IDs, another class doing the next of it. But actually, once it's all in place, it took about 3 classes, and it was seamless. So now they're creating a portfolio of their best work. The teachers are working online, they're flipping the classroom, and that's all using Office 365 and OneNote, which we have here embedded anyway. So there was nothing extra. That's just about the Living Schools Lab. For anyone who don't know, the Living Schools Lab it was a project where schools from different countries would get together and share best practice. So we're in Ireland. There were a couple of schools around the country who wanted to start getting involved in IT and upgrade their IT skills and the profile of their school. So as an advanced school, we helped them out. And it was very informal. I might send an email. They might say, we're looking to introduce this. What do you think? I'd give them advice. But Ireland actually won the best regional hub in that whole project, and that was out of 15 European countries. There are so many opportunities to learn from other countries and try little things, and there were 3 or 4 teachers involved in that in the school. It was stuff we were doing already, wasn't a big ask, wasn't any extra work. So I'm going to finish up on this with the benefits of managed services to us. The practical benefits are that the focus is on the learning and not the technology. It is becoming invisible. Now, I'm not saying it's perfect, but I know that if something happens or I want to introduce something, that there's someone I can go to. We have the team of experts at our disposal, and we trust that the systems will work, and we do work together. It kind of is like a bit of a family now. I know I can ring somebody up at the drop of a hat. It might be the weekend. I might be having a meltdown over something. I know I'm taken personally, and they will calm me down and sort whatever it is out. But the knock-on effects that I didn't really anticipate are that the teachers are working with students to create the e-portfolio, not just in the EU Folio project, but I'll talk to teachers and they'll say, yeah, well, I got them to send it in, I had a look, they emailed it in to me, we set it up together and I made documents. I mean, they're creating folios themselves without even realising it. We're creating our own personal learning networks. We use Twitter a lot. There are teachers now in school who would go on to the EdChat.ie hashtag on a Monday night. There's a chat there about technology. And if any of you aren't on Twitter, it's something that you should get involved in. You don't have to say anything, you just even look it up. If you type in hashtag EdChat.ie, you'll see loads of different things from Irish education, just people who can give you help out there. If you don't have systems set up in your school, there are people out there who have it done already and they could give you advice. The CESI network is another group that's been really, really helpful to us, and they have a conference every year. And as Mary-Trace said, we go to Bet, we look outside, we send a delegation from Colaiste to CESI each year. And you might come back with 1 or 2 things that you can implement into your school, which is always useful. I love going to something. If I come back with 1 or 2 things I can use, that has been a successful conference for me. We attend seminars now and events. There was an event on in Microsoft there during the midterm break. So it was during the midterm break, and it was how to promote STEM careers to girls in school. So I was going to go to it anyway because I'm really interested in that. And Stephen Howell, who's the academic engagement manager over in Microsoft, had invited me. And I just put it out there to teachers. And the 2 career guidance teachers came, and a couple of other teachers wanted to come and couldn't, and we gave them back the information. We wanted to go to the Web Summit, and I got places for the students to go to the Student Web Summit. I had about 15 teachers who wanted to come as well. Now, I know it's not directly connected to the infrastructure, but I also am aware that because we can trust it, teachers are thinking, do you know what, that might work in our school. I might go and have a look at this, I might go and have a look at that, because I think they might be able to implement it easily or with support. And as Mary-Trace mentioned, we have 13 teachers working with Bridge 21 and Trinity Access Programme and Google. They have a postgrad in 21st century learning, and 13 teachers signed up. And that's again in their own time. So the teachers here are willing to embrace, and they really want to learn and want to engage and bring it back to their students. So I just think for us, managed services, the easy integration of Office 365 and all the technology that we have in the school and have been able to support has just opened up huge possibilities. That's what I want to finish on. The possibilities are there, and people aren't afraid anymore. So that's it.